City Urban Renewal Agency meeting of April 14th, 2014. Roll call, please.
Dick Anderson.
Here.
Gordon Eggleton. Here. Gary Ellingson.
Here.
Chester Norikis.
Here.
Wes Ryan.
Here.
Henry Quant.
Here.
And Roger Sprague.
Thank you. Item C is an opportunity for citizens present to make comment, and I see that we don't have any, so we can breeze right on through. We have the minutes before us of the meeting of March 10th, 2014. What's the pleasure of the council?
I'd move for approval of the March 10th, 2014 meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion. I have three changes that I would like to ask the city attorney about, and maybe we won't change it, but, excuse me, no, that's at a later meeting. I picked up the wrong paper. In the minutes, under item 4, the second paragraph, the second line, it's just a housekeeping thing, but instead of send, I think it should be sent. The fourth word in the second sentence, and sent out to for proposals from developers. And then down under 5, second paragraph, first sentence, next to the last item there, or the word I should say, it says brick. I think that should be concrete. That's where they're talking about the wall that fell. It was not a brick wall, it was a concrete wall, and I think it might confuse somebody in the future if we don't show that right. Those are the only two changes that I have.
I'd amend my motion to include those corrections.
Okay, does the second? Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. We have two special orders of business. Allison, are you going to be making those for us? Okay. First one is a bid award for the Nell Scott Southwest 35th Street parking lot.
Good evening. Okay, so you'll see up on the screen an aerial view of the Southwest 35th Street parking lot project in Nell Scott, the properties. In 2007, the agency purchased 2 Nell Scott district properties, which total a little over 1 acre, at the corner of Southwest 35th Street and Highway 101, to realize projects outlined in the Nell Scott Community Vision Plan. In January 2013, with the anticipation of the ODOT Highway 101 improvement project through Nell Scott, the agency approved a contract for design and engineering services for a parking lot on this urban renewal property. The parking lot, as you can see here, the parking lot will help offset impacts to the property owners and businesses in the area, and it'll be approximately 10 parking spaces, one of which will be accessible. And what we'll do is go ahead and build this. If you approve of the bid award this evening, we'll construct this portion of the project, and then when ODOT builds their portion around the corner and on the highway, it'll connect into ours. And the design was complete in February. Maybe I mentioned that already. And last week, staff had a bid opening, and you can see up here the bid results. We had 4 bidders, and the low bid for this project is Devil's Lake Rock Company. And so the award of bid proposal is now before you. Are there any questions? Yes.
Any questions?
I guess for me, Mr. Chairman, it's very interesting to have 3 top bidders certainly be local. It isn't K&E the one working on our utility? So they're stationed here, but yet pretty big gap on the high bid.
And they bid on another project, which you're going to get to, too.
Yeah.
Where,
Of
course, they have the ODOT project and our relocate project.
It's nice to see local bidders.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, let's move on to number 3.
Okay.
That's the South First Street signal.
The agency directed staff to proceed with undergrounding utilities in the D-Lake District along the west side of Highway 101 from Northwest 2nd Street to Southwest Ebb Avenue. And central to that effort includes upgrading the South First Street traffic signal from wires, as you can see it's kind of suspended on wires right now, and we'll be putting in mast arms to get rid of those wires. Design and bid documents were complete in March. And last week, we had a bid opening, and we received 3 bids for construction, and K&E Excavating of Salem was the low bidder. So this is before you this evening for consideration to award bid for construction of this. It's actually replacement, so it'll be some removal of material and then putting in new things that are, putting in new traffic signal that is undergrounded.
Okay, any comments from the agency? Mr. Noyakis.
Allison, who's doing the design and engineering on both these projects?
Both of these projects were designed and engineered by McKinsey. They used to be called Group McKinsey, and now they're McKinsey. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Allison, I have a question regarding the engineering. Early on, we had, if I'm not mistaken, we were paying for engineering to come up to a point where we were going to ask for bids. Now we have another item in there for engineering, and I'm wondering, where does the bidding engineering stop, and when does the rest of it begin?
I guess I don't understand.
Are we paying for?
We're done with design and engineering completely. So the projects are ready for construction. There could have been some language. We had a revised resolution. So in the resolutions, I was using an older template that wasn't current, and so it could be that there was something in there that wasn't correct.
Okay, that must be what I was.
Or, Mr. Chairman, are you looking at the cover memo where there's a heading, cost and associated costs, and where she put design and engineering, proposed bid for construction, anticipated project costs?
Right.
So the way I interpreted this was she's outlining for you what this total project is costing and the different components. The bid tonight is $321, the middle one, but want you to know that you've already paid $32,800 for engineering. So the total project is going to be $353,800. And if you keep going down against a budget of $350,000, so $3,800 over the original budget. If this is what you're looking at.
I believe that that's the difference. I was just kind of taken aback by the fact that we were paying for all the design up front, and then we turned around and we showed in the bid that there was about $30,000 or whatever it was for engineering.
Yeah. The bid that is really was it $321? Is that what this one is?
To build the project, $321,000.
Okay.
To have gotten it to this point, in order to move it to construction, was the $32,800.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, if I could, because I apologize for the last item on the parking garage, I was looking at this too, the same kind of component, and on that one, we're way under what we originally proposed as a budget. I noted total budget around $250, and at the end of the day, the total project should be $187, roughly. Is that?
189 for the total project. So, and in that budget line item, in each of those budget line items, they're for NELSCOT projects kind of grouped together. And often we can't, before we do a bid, we can't predict what the market will bring in terms of costs. So we have engineers' estimates that kind of give us a rough idea. And both of these projects were over the engineers' estimates. I did talk with the consultant about why that could be, and they mentioned that it could just be the economy, that bidders are being more competitive with one another. They did come in close to one another. For the traffic signal, for example, the bidders likely saw that there was a little more complexity in the foundation work just because of various things, the project location, it's near the highway, and dewatering, so different things like that.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I have a
Questions?
question.
Sure, go ahead.
What's the alternate A and alternate B? What's that about?
That's a great question. The consultant recommended that we have alternate A and alternate B as, often you'll see in a bid process, if there's something that we want to add that's optional, then we can see kind of what the contractors will say that will cost, and then we can decide if we want to build that part of the project or not. In this case, there's a component of the project that may not be needed. And so these are deductive bid alternates. So for A and B, one is a north wiring that goes to a signal to the north, and the other is a signal wire that goes to the south. And this has to do with the interconnect between the traffic signals, how they talk to one another. So just to kind of cover the bases, if a contractor were to bid and say, it cost this much money to do all of the work, and then the work wasn't needed, it just gives the city and the agency a little more assurance of how much that particular part cost. If it's not needed, then we would deduct that from what they are paid.
Okay,
So, sorry, was that?
that's good, thank you.
Okay, all right.
Other comments? Chester?
Just to be clear, Allison, on both of these projects, we're coming in over the engineer's bid.
Over the
Correct.
engineer's estimate.
Pardon me, engineer's estimate. Thank you.
Any further comments? Questions? Okay, anything else, Allison?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
That brings us to public hearings, and we have none on the agenda. So let's go to resolutions, item G. We have number 4, Urban Renewal 2014-4, a resolution. It's a resolution of the Urban Renewal Agency of Lincoln City approving an award of bid from Devils Lake Rock Company for construction services for the Nelscott District Southwest 35th Street parking lot project.
I would so move that we accept resolution number UR 2014-04.
Okay, is there a second?
Second?
Okay, we have a second. Any further discussion? I think the roll call would be appropriate.
Ellingson,
Yes.
Sprague,
Yes.
Norikis,
Yes.
Quant,
Yes,
Anderson.
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
and Eggleton. Motion carries.
Thank you. Then item number 5, Urban Renewal 2014-5, a resolution of the Urban Renewal Agency of Lincoln City approving an award of bid from K&E Excavating for construction services for the D Lakes District South First Street traffic signal replacement project.
I would so move that we accept resolution number UR 2014-05.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? And roll call, please.
Sprague,
Yes.
Norikis,
Yes.
Quant,
yes,
Anderson.
Yes.
Ryan. Eggleton. And Ellingson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. We are now to item H, which is agency member comments. Let's start down with Mr. Ryan. Any comments? Mr. Ellingson
No, sir, thank you very much.
and Mr. Norikis.
Mr. Olson, could we have an update on the Cultural Center wall and the vent?
I'd be glad to. The wall, we are looking at 3 options currently. One is if the tar material that's been put on the wall can be removed. So they're going to look at some different products, and then we can decide whether or not, how well that works. The second option is just to remove the brick and put new brick back and see what that would cost, because it's just a veneer, there's no structural to it, it's 2 inches away from the building, actually. So that's always an option. And then one of the things that the Cultural Center has asked about is the possibility of putting, well, virtually a living wall there, so that it would be, that we've talked before about hiding the vent with some sort of a metal structure that maybe ivy or something would grow on, And so they've asked to consider that as an option of a metal structure that would be the same size and shape as the end of the building, that would have some sort of a trellis on it and a planting area that something could grow on it. And if that was the case, then maybe all we'd have to do is seal the brick that's there a little bit better, replace some of the ones that are busted and chipped, and just grow a wall there. So we're looking at those three options, and when we get better ideas of what the cost would be, then we'll be bringing that back for some discussion.
And have we eliminated the leak?
It is not leaking at this time.
Good, good.
The leak seems to be more associated with the downspout problems in the roof than because as soon as when they did take that veneer down, it damaged the downspout again, and it leaked in the basement really bad. But to my knowledge, it hasn't leaked. It virtually hasn't leaked since. I was there just last week, and again we took a look again, and Nikki showed me that it wasn't leaking. They were really happy about that. So it could be that the tar that's on it is keeping then whatever problem was happening with it from leaking. But again, it seems to be a downspout issue then.
Good. And progress on the vent?
And the vent, as I understand it, the vent is up and attached to the wall. We were concerned about how it would be attached and the fasteners, and we've checked that out. It looks like it's going to be fine. It looks done. They didn't use plumber tape or Scotch tape or anything. They held it up, put it up there with stainless steel brackets that are welded to the vent pipe. I haven't been in the basement since then to see if they've got the rest of the project done, the wrap around the pipe. Last week they hadn't completed it by Wednesday, and then I was out of town for a couple of days. So, but it's moving forward, and then we'll be looking at some ideas for covering that once we get it completed.
Thank you.
You bet.
Kurt, if the existing, have you run across any information as to why that masonry was those panels were put over the existing brick?
Yeah, well, I did some research, and I contacted the current maintenance operations manager for the school district, and he put me in charge with Fred Wright, who was the manager, who was in charge of the school district maintenance operations for many years prior to Rich Baloney. And Fred, I got a hold of Fred. He's retired now, and he's living in Palm Springs, and he's happy. He wants to let you all to know he's very happy down there. And he said that those panels were actually on the building in 1979 when he came. Now, it might have been 75, but in that area, those panels were already there. And he said, so he doesn't know exactly why they were put there, but he did say that soon after he got here, one of his first jobs in that building was to remove all the brick on the front of the building and replace it. And we have pictures from the museum that show the front of the building with no brick at all. And so all that brick that you see there has been put up since it was done in 1980. And he said it was because the brick was acting like a sponge, and it was wicking moisture into the building, and so it was causing problems. So that's why he thinks that end was done in that way, because it was probably worse than the rest of the sides of the building.
And you believe that if we need to replace the brick, that color brick is still available?
The color of the front of the building is available.
Okay.
The color of the front of the building is red, and you see some areas where it's orange. There are some lines that are orange where different additions were done. The actual backside, the south side, where it is black now, is actually the orange brick. The orange brick is not available.
Okay.
But the red brick is, so it would match.
Anything else, Mr. Noriakis?
No, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Anderson?
I'm good, thank you.
All right. Henry Quant? Nothing? Gordy?
Nothing.
Okay, then we are adjourned.